Well, I hope you're doing well today. Hey, have you ever been to a buffet where the food was just unusually good? Lord willing, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have the privilege, along with several others, to be in the country of Bolivia. And it's a long trip, so there are some inconveniences involved, but one of the benefits and the blessings, along with just being with delightful people and teaching the Word of God, of course, is the hotel where we stay. It's owned by one of the pastor's families, and it's a beautiful hotel. And when I was there last year, one of the things that stood out to me was each one of the meals was served in a buffet style, but it was a food that just I had not eaten before. It was unique to their particular culture. And Lord willing, I'm going to be able to go back. And that's one of the things I'm looking forward to is just those buffets of incredible food that is so very, very good. And I hope you've had that experience either at a family gathering or maybe a restaurant that you've gone to where it's a delightful and delicious feast. Well, I'm not trying to make you hungry, but I would suggest that that's what we're experiencing in Ephesians chapter 1. It's a theological feast. So many different beautiful terms about our salvation. And when our preaching schedule was put together last November, the decision was made just to take each one of those theological concepts, those key words, and assign them out to our various pastors. And so Sunday after Sunday after Sunday, we're just taking very small slices of maybe a verse or two that highlight a particular aspect of our salvation, and then we're just trying to think that through biblically. And I realize you might say, wow, if you're just talking about one word or one phrase, it must be hard to come up with enough for a sermon. No, that's not true at all, because there's just concepts that are so incredibly rich. And I hope you felt that way as we've gone now Sunday after Sunday now and thought about different things in the early part of Ephesians chapter 1. Well, this Sunday, we're going to be talking about the concept of redemption. We find that in Ephesians 1:7 and again in Ephesians 1:14. And I had that same kind of experience again as I was preparing that message of just thinking about what a incredible theological banquet we have here when we think about what it means for us to be redeemed. If your time allows, I would encourage you to go back to the book of Ruth, because Ruth is the place in the Bible where we're introduced to that beautiful concept of kinsman-redeemer. And what I like about that is it's not just a theological concept. It's actually illustrated in the person. You remember him, Boaz. And that's the story that helps us understand personally what does it mean for redemption to actually occur in somebody's life. And then we fast forward to the New Testament and think about what it means for Jesus Christ to be our Redeemer. So I would encourage you to pray and ask the Lord just to open our hearts to that important theological truth. We'll talk about some of the practical implications of what it means to be people who are redeemed. But it's a beautiful, beautiful idea in the Word of God. I would also encourage you, if you have a friend, a loved one, a coworker who doesn't normally go to church, why not pick up the phone and say, hey, let's go to a banquet. Let's go and listen to what the Word of God has to say about the possibility of being redeemed. I also want to encourage you just to be on the lookout for folks who might be new. God blesses us Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. Or maybe a brother or sister that you already know, but maybe has had a hard week. Boy, when we come to the Lord's house on the Lord's day and think about a concept like redemption, that can encourage all of our hearts as we grow in Him together. I'm looking forward to seeing you this Lord's day.